One of the things I struggle with as a content creator is the fact that you need to dress up for every video, for every content. You need to be well dressed. You need to, apply the slightest makeup. Yes, I know you have to be real, but at the same time, you need to look presentable. For those who design their backgrounds, you need everything intact and all that. It's one major struggle for me. If you see me, I look like almost the same as how I looked in the previous video. Aside that, I took off the jumper that I was wearing in that previous video. So let's just go straight to the video. Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Bimbo. I'm a Nigerian trained pharmacist and a UK care assistant. And in this video, I want us to have a heart-to-heart talk. You see, these past few months, I've been exposed to certain things, and as an immigrant, I think it's beneficial if I share with my fellow immigrants, especially those of us in the UK. It's a real struggle, and I see it as a rat race where we have to work and work. I believe this is the same thing across the Western countries. But I've been thinking of how can we survive? How can we stand out? How can we make it? How can we be successful in this journey, in this rat race, in this kind of society? So there's this guy I follow on TikTok. The guy is brilliant and is intelligent. Very young guy, is fully loaded. And when he talks, it's like he's speaking my mind. I'll just share a snippet of one of his videos, the one he did recently, or let me say the one I watched recently. He was asking that, okay, after the ILR, what next?
Someone once said some people don't mind to get permanent residency in a lunatic asylum. And this is true. Now, if you see the craving of a lot of people who want to get papers, they can do anything. People can do anything to get papers. Now, ask yourself, after getting that paper, what next? You see, a lot of people in this UK are living in depression and they are frustrated right now. Some of them are even better off where they were coming from. Because why? They never thought of, after getting the paper, what next? I have shared this story in my page. I read a book called Up from Slavery. And now the author of this book made one statement I keep on wondering, and I keep on sharing this statement. The author said, immediately after the slave trade, after the slave era, once they let the slave go and they told them that, oh, you can now go, they only celebrated for 3 hours. They only celebrated for 3 hours. These are people that are looking for their freedom. They only celebrated for 3 hours. Why? Because they realized so quick that now that they've left.
And this is something that some of us have never thought of. So in my line of duty as a care assistant, I have met a number of people in this place. This is Northern Ireland. I've been able to meet two people, and there's something that's similar, something is common to these two people. Two of them already have their passports. In fact, I think they have both UK passport and Ireland passport, because before the Brexit, they had already got their papers. You know what I mean? And then one other thing that's common to these two people is that it's like they aren't satisfied, they aren't fulfilled. We had a heart-to-heart talk, and I could sense that these guys are frustrated, these ladies aren't fulfilled, and they are both praying so hard for a better Nigeria. They're preaching so much about investing back home, and this is like contrary to what the mindset of some of us who have just relocated out of our home country, Nigeria, is. Most of us would just come here, and the thought of going back home scares us, like, no, I'm not going back, no, I'm not going back. But the reason why I'm here is that have you got any plans for after the papers? I know a lot of us are still looking for stability, like how do I get a job to remain here legally? But at the same time, we also need to think ahead, because one thing I know is highly important in this place is information. As immigrants, we tend to thrive on information. You would see that some locals sometimes might want to take advantage of you. You don't have the knowledge of some of your rights. You're not privy to some of these things. So they might want to, use the opportunity to cheat you, like you don't know your rights. When you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. I'm talking like a motivational speaker today. But I have jotted down, I'm learning to, write scripts, because my own kind of YouTube, I don't write scripts. I just, as they bring it, I just on my camera and I talk. It's just mostly spontaneous videos. So bear with me. I just highlighted some points on my phone. So I have here that you should stop over time. As an immigrant, we tend to pick shift, extra shift, especially if you have a full-time job. and then you're picking you on your contract, you've got 37.5 hours on your contracts, but they still, advertise extra shift. Some people do extra. At the end of the day, I've come to realize that it's not the best option. Some people do it ignorantly, and that's why I'm here to share this information that would help you, so that you make, informed decision, you make better decisions as immigrants, working full time, or maybe what do we call ourselves now, dependents, that is free to work anywhere and anyhow. So the important thing is working smart. I have here that rather than do overtime or pick extra shifts, this is my own personal opinion. And if you have anything to add or to subtract, please do well to share in the comments. So I have here that first, rather than do overtime with your employer, why not pick agency shifts? I've come to realize that agency shifts pays more because you don't have any other benefits aside your holiday pay. That's the only benefit you're entitled to. Most of these agencies wouldn't give you any sick leave that is paid. It's only unpaid off days or something. But it's like you're getting all your benefits as you're working on the go. You're working 3 days or 4 days, you still have three free days, and then you decide to work 5 days, work 6 days with your employer. Why not just work your 3 or 4 days with your employer, and then on your free days pick extra shifts with an agency? Because you don't get to work for long, you don't get to work much with the agency, your tax deduction wouldn't be much also. Imagine as a care assistant, you're working with an agency on a bank holiday and you get paid like 22, 26, up to 26 pounds per hour. You're just working one day, just one shift that week, or let's say 4 shifts in a month. It's additional money. Compare it with working with your employer, your full-time employer, doing extra shift overtime. Compare the money. Maybe you haven't thought about it. I'm just trying to hint you, think about it. Another thing that you can do is to upskill by learning a high income skill. Yeah, I know that it's a rat race. The higher you earn, the more the tax man will deduct from your money, but at the end of the day, you still earn more. So why don't you just upskill rather than pick extra shift? If you upskill and you get a high paying job, then you work less. You work less and you earn maybe the same thing like you were earning when you were overworking, or you even earn more and work less. Do you know what I mean? So these are things that we should be thinking about as immigrants right from now. How do I upskill? I've met people where we have discussed about, transitioning into some other professions. That's why it's not a bad idea to start thinking outside the box. How can I upskill while you're still working? And I usually say this as an immigrant, especially, those of us who just came in a few years ago. You need to work twice as hard as those who have been here for long or who are locals. So you need to be able to, burn the candles. You need to go the extra for you to be distinct and to find some sense of fulfillment. After now, when you get your papers, you need to upskill. Okay, I also spoke about upskilling because you might want some flexibility. Maybe you're not married now. By the time you get married and start having children, you find out that childcare wouldn't make you as flexible as you are now. So if you upskill, it can give you the opportunity to work in an environment where you can work remotely. You know what I mean? And then it also increases your value in the job market. There are some people that moved to the UK from their home countries. Back home, they were doing well in their businesses. They were self-employed. Or coming here, somebody that was like a fashion designer came to the UK. She was her own boss, had apprentices, had people working for them. They all came here and they found themselves in care. It's not like me that I have worked in the hospital. I have worked night shift in the past. So coming here to start night shift is not strange to me. It's not completely strange. But for those category of people, it is completely strange. And the body will need to, start adjusting. So why don't you start thinking of how you can bring in all your skills, all the skills that you had or that you still have. Why don't you try and commercialize them? I recently realized that some people have just come in to do their masters in the UK, and they are limited in terms of the information that they have. I know a guy that has come to learn something and artificial intelligence, and the family are advising him, if you get a care job, just do the care job, so that even if they give you the sponsorship, you will just stay on the sponsorship, so that you will not be desperate for sponsorship. Just start with that. Did you know that starting with that is like a form of limitation? Because I am very sure that the guy might just settle for that girl at the end of the day. After his program, he would be looking for a job. Meanwhile, he's not experienced in that artificial intelligence degree. He's only experienced in care. So opportunities in care will just keep coming. It'll keep flooding him. And if he's not getting any headway with any artificial intelligence job, it just settles for the care for the next few years. So that's why I'm saying that the conditions are never perfect. If you're a student, build your LinkedIn profile, do your GitHub if you're into tech. For if you're not into tech, just get UK experience, even if it means you would volunteer. The fact that you get a certificate here in the UK, it may interest you to know that your UK experience is of more value, or let me not exaggerate, but it's as important as your certificate. Your UK experience is as important. If I say it's more important, I might even be right in some cases than your degree. So make sure that you get the experience. You can do volunteer, even if it is 1 day or 2 days, so that as you are studying, you're also getting the experience. And by the time you finish, you graduate, it will be so easy for you to start applying and easy for you to get a job and get sponsorship, including tech degrees. If you are here to do your master's in anything tech, your degree does not involve any placement. It means you will have no experience after you graduate. Please, my dear, don't wait. There's never a perfect condition, and procrastination is a disease that will take your dream to the grave. Start today, because a good tomorrow is what we are made of today. There's really never tomorrow. Today is transient. Today is dynamic. It just keeps moving. Time keeps moving. There's really never tomorrow. Do you get me? So that's just what I thought to come and share here, that as immigrants, we need to think ahead. We need to be, extraordinary. We need to put in more and more work. We don't have to procrastinate. There are some things that we have not been thinking about because we are looking for sponsorship. Now that you have the sponsorship, you are beginning to count down to the ILR. What happens next? I want us to start thinking about all of those from now. And if today is your first time coming across my channel, please do well to like, share, and consider subscribing to this channel. Also, please click on that bell icon. It's a way for you to get notified when next I drop another video. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next one.